Welcome to Canada's podcast. Wayne, great to meet you and welcome to Canada's podcast. As I usually do, why don't we kick off by you letting everyone know who you are and what you do at this moment in time.
Point in life, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having us, first of all. So mid-50s, so that sort of tells you where I grew up, how I grew up, and everything else. And a lot of my story sort of evolves from the diversions in the road of life sort of thing. If you take this decision, where are you going from there sort of thing. So personally, I finished 1 year university in hotel and food. That was sort of my interest that I thought was there. Went out into Banff and thought I'd take a year off and see what the hotel, food, restaurant industry offered, and never made it back. I became a ski bum. That adventure
it's a great adventure.
Yeah, exactly. And that took me actually a lot of different places: Colorado, Utah. Ended up in Lake Tahoe, which is a beautiful place. Nobody's ever been there. It's just phenomenal, summer and winter. So I spent, I was only originally planning one winter in Tahoe, and that's when I met my wife, where I was working, future wife, and ended up living there for 5 years before we moved back to Canada to get our family closer to my immediate family, which is the Ottawa, Guelph area sort of thing. So that brought us back to Canada in 91. And since then, sort of bounced around different jobs. My background at that time was carpentry. So I got my millwright papers when I was in California. So architectural milling, cabinet making, whatever it might be. So came back and started that in the Ottawa area. Worked for a couple different companies, started my own little hobby cabinet making business. And that sort of, that was the direction I figured I was going. I like the entrepreneurial side of it, but trying to, any sort of trades person that's trying to do the work and run a business, it's very difficult. You got to do all facets of the business and do the day-to-day operations too. So it was tough to grow. And currently our business is Powerhouse Management Services. That was one of those road divisions where a buddy of mine I was talking to one time, and he was in the real estate market in Eastern Ontario. Had a number of national clients that he worked with, and one of them, when Ontario deregulated in the early 2000s in the electricity market, they were asking anybody they knew, do you know anything about what this means to us as a company? So he was just trying to help them out at the time, and I was talking to him over lunch one day, and I said, well, I'll research, see if I can put something together, and put a short white paper together that he presented to them. And they basically came back and they liked it and said they'd like to hire the company that did it for them. So he came back and gave me a phone call and said, you better set up a company because this national retailer wants to hire you. So it was a little bit different for, I think, most companies, where you're not starting out with a small company, small client, and trying to grow it. We actually started with one of the largest national retailers in Canada as our first client. So we really had to, hit the ground running with them. And they knew we were new too. I was honest with them and basically said, here's who we are, where we're at. And we both grew together sort of thing. And then just started adding clients from that point on. So it's been just 20 years now, basically, that we've been in this industry.
So you kind of, without being cheeky, would you say that you kind of stumbled into entrepreneurship rather than, this grand plan? Or having that white paper thing, I guess that was a really kind of forward-thinking idea that you had somebody that was on your side and got you somewhere. But did you see it, that the net result of it was going to be a business, or was it just, an idea kind of thing?
Yeah, as far as the entrepreneurial side, I think, I've always had an entrepreneurial mentality since I was a teen. And, no matter what type of business I might have been led into, I think I probably eventually would have run my own business anyways. I'm an idea guy. So whether it's this business or something else, I'm sort of always thinking in my head about how would I develop this further, whether it's one business or another. As far as, our current business, I think when I did the white paper, I think the big thing for me was in that I sort of presented new ideas and new concepts to them that, maybe they shouldn't try to do this internally within their company because they don't have the expertise and the knowledge that they needed. So one of the things in the white paper was, I suggested finding somebody that could do this as a consultant basically for them outside of their company. And, they obviously liked that idea and came back and said, okay, well, could you be that consultant? So that's where we started from and just took off from there.
So, that's how you got started. But, how long did you had the sort of carpentry business a bit before that. How long did it actually take you to establish yourself? I think that's always one of the things that people thinking about it say, well, it'd be great, but they don't have a sense of timing. I have a sense, but I'm interested in what your timing is.
Yeah, I think for the current business that we're doing, and like I said, we had the opportunity to start with a national client with a lot of locations. So for us, it was really easy to say, okay, let's both test the waters, and we did a pilot program with their locations in Alberta.
Mhm.
So that would have probably totaled about 48 locations. So for us, it basically allowed us to put a timetable to our growth. And we said, look, if we can do this pilot program for 48 locations and do it effectively, why couldn't we do it for all their locations nationally? And then the client was looking at it on the same basis. They said, if this is a success on the pilot, why wouldn't we go forward? So originally the pilot we both established would be a 6-month period, but after 3 months, they came back to us and said they wanted to go national. So, we were able to quickly look at it and draw a timetable to say, okay, let's add in BC, Saskatchewan, Manitoba at this point, add in Ontario. So over about the next year and a half, we were able to really roll it out in an effective manner that we could grow with it at the same time and train our staff to know what they're doing and training them at the same time they're doing the process, because we had to take on those locations on a time schedule.
Now you're based in Ottawa, and we're Canada's podcast. It's kind of interesting to, doing business in Ottawa. I mean, you've been there for a long time. You're established there. Your business is national, I assume. What's so great about doing business in Ottawa, apart from being near the Parliament buildings?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I grew up my younger years in Ottawa too, right? So I find it, although it's growing like every other city, there's new houses being built every time you turn around in the suburbs.
Yeah.
And but I find it's very family friendly. I mean, there's all the museums, everything else, because it is the capital. As far as business, for us, it really hasn't been. I wouldn't say it's been an advantage, because most of our clients, their head offices are in Toronto or Montreal.
Mhm.
So I'm actually really traveling to my clients. Not, we usually do sort of a quarterly meeting with them and present all the data personally. Now, obviously with COVID, it's been different. We haven't been doing that in the last couple of years, but locally, most of our clients, like I said, are national, where we're not really servicing a 2-person operation or a 2-location in the Ottawa area, but we are looking to start branching out to the smaller consumers in the next couple of years, where we can offer that national level service that we've been giving these larger clients and take it down to a smaller scale for not, mom and pop operations, yes, but even a franchise owner that has 3 locations.
So have you had to sort of radically change your business the way you're managing it in the last year or so?
No, we've been lucky, based on some of the work we do with the utility bills and managing the bills. We've been deemed an essential service, because all our clients basically still have to process and pay their utility bills to keep the lights on and the gas flowing, sort of thing. So 2 of our staff members have been working at home. Initially, they elected to do that, and then with health issues, they've just remained at home ever since. The rest of the staff have been coming into the office and following COVID procedures. And the way our office is set up, we have a lot of individual offices for 1 or 2 people. So when you're in the common area, you're using COVID protocol. But it's been good. We've been able to maintain business as normal, and all our clients have been able to do the same during the whole COVID period.
What's the best thing you would say about being an entrepreneur? That being an employee, you just can't get that same thing.
Yeah, there's sometimes I wish I was an employee sometimes too, right? I think every entrepreneur thinks that at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
The best part I would say is, you're making your own decisions, again, depending on who's involved in the company and ownership and all that. But, like every growing company, we've had our different things with, maybe bringing partners in and selling some piece of the company and all that. But pretty much through it all, we've remained independent. I'm the sole owner. We've been able to say, our advice as an independent advisor to our clients is very impartial. We're not paid commission fees by anybody, any of our suppliers, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we work exclusively on the client side. And that's what I really think my big sort of benefit of being an entrepreneur in this business is, I can say we're honestly giving a service that we can trust and our clients can trust. That's the biggest thing. We're not trying to do sort of not to stereotype, but a used car salesman mentality where we're just trying to sell a widget and do it however we can just to make money. So I think that's probably the best part of our business that I enjoy.
What would you say, getting to where you are, what's been the greatest challenge? I mean, obviously your cash flow is always a challenge, but how have you been able to sustain the business?
You mentioned cash flow, and that's actually one of our benefits on our business. The way our clients pay us is on a weekly basis. So if you, again, not knowing a lot about our business, but we process utility bills for our clients. So every week we're sending them a report because they actually still have to pay all those bills. So they import that report into their accounting system, then they're paying the bills. So with that, we send them our invoice. So our payments are flowing in every week. So it's great. I know most companies, could have 60 to 90-day payment terms before they actually see the money. We're seeing it within 10 to 14 days. So that's a good part of our business. So financially, that hasn't really been sort of one of those issues as a normal entrepreneur where it's a real concern. I think as far as growing the business, I wouldn't say we got stuck, but because our first few clients were national multi-site clients, we were stuck in that retail funnel, I would say, where, we were getting referrals within the retail sector, but how else could we service other funnels with our concept? So imagining, the small manufacturing facility in Cornwall or individual franchise owners sort of thing. So a year ago, I brought on a marketing person that's what we've been actually targeting in the last, I'd say 14 months is those other funnels where school boards, smaller mom and pop operations, and, trying to figure out how we can provide the same services to those types of businesses.
There's always been, for me, there's been one or two very important mentors, if you like, that in my life. What's the best piece of advice you've received? That you keep on using.
That's a good question. I would probably say because our business is really software driven, we use software platforms to manage all the data we bring in. Initially, when we did the pilot, we were using Excel spreadsheets, and we knew that wasn't going to last if we were going national. So we brought in a software developer that we said, okay, there's nothing out there that we like or that we could use. Let's build something ourselves. So, he worked with us for about a 2-year period, and, the work's good. But the best advice I had is from a friend that I met through curling, actually. And since then, I've heard it from others as well, is if you're not in the software development business, don't try to be in it, sort of thing. Don't try to build your own software. Go out and find it or get an experienced company to do it for you, sort of thing. And that's what we found. 7 years into our business, we went out and searched the market, and we found software out of the US that actually did what we needed it to do. And it was customizable too. So we've been using that for the last 14 years, and it's worked wonders for us. It's really, the client facing process is a lot neater, a lot cleaner. All our clients have access through a web portal. So they're customizing their information the way they want to see it as well. So the clients are happy with it. It's easy for us. And I think that's probably the biggest thing is don't try to build something yourself if that's not the industry you're in.
What's keeping you up at night?
I don't know. I actually do sleep pretty good.
That's good. That's good.
It's my wife that tosses and turns all the time. Keep me up at night. Honestly, not a lot. Like I said, if we were a different type of business during COVID, I'm sure I'd be like everybody else, where I'd sort of be freaking out a little bit. But we've been able to maintain all our staff, and cash flow, like I said, keeps coming in. And that's the one thing I am most proud of is the number of people we've been able to employ over the years. A lot of people don't think about it. I don't think a lot where, we're employing 12 people right now. Where would those 12 people be? I'm sure they'd be working somewhere else if it wasn't for us, but they've all been long-term employees. A few of them have been here 14, 15 years. So, they obviously like working here and working for the company. And I think that's one of the biggest things to be proud of is that you're employing people and giving them a livelihood.
So if you weren't doing this, what would you be doing today?
I'd love to say I'd be a curling professional, but I don't know if that would ever happen at this age. Doing today. I actually think I'd probably be trying to renovate and flip homes. Which a lot of people want to do. But I think I got the background that I actually could do it. So the entrepreneurial side, and then the actual hands-on experience. And I've got a few friends that are doing it right now. So I think I probably would have sort of put a group together and formed some type of company to renovate and flip homes.
What book are you currently reading, listening to, whatever? But more importantly, what books have influenced you that you might recommend?
Wow. And I'm laughing because somebody asked me that question about a week ago, and I'll give you the same answer. I started reading a Bobby Orr autobiography about 3 years ago on vacation. I still haven't finished it. So that tells you what I find as an entrepreneur. Unless you're in the business of sort of, educating entrepreneurs, maybe like yourself, you probably read a lot because, you're trying to get those facts and sort of get that out there into the public. For myself, reading information, little blogs on the internet and stuff about our industry and trying to figure out, where the industry's going, how do we grow our business, and then just maintaining the day-to-day stuff. I honestly have very little time to read, so I'm still trying to get through that Bobby Orr book.
If you had to pick one word to describe yourself, what would it be and why?
Honest, I think. That'd probably be the one. No matter, and that's just the way I look at life. I mean, no matter who you're dealing with, whether you like a person, not like a person, doing business, whatever it is, I still think honesty is, the old adage, honesty is the best policy. But I think that's the best way to get through life. Be honest with others, and you hope they're honest in return, right?
I think the key thing, one more question, which I can is a fun one as well. Are you a morning or a night person? Because I can't guess with you. I can usually sense, but I don't have a sense for you.
I like my naps, so that tells you I might be a midday person, but I'm really both actually. I if there's something to do, chores at home, outside, whatever, I'll be up early and I'll be doing them. But we love our TV too. So we have our favorite shows and all that. We watch Sandy Ronaldo and Lisa LaFlamme at night and watch the news. So, we're up till 11:30 midnight too. So I'd say it's a mixture of both actually.
Wayne, that's really been interesting. It's been very different how you got into it, how it's evolved. it's a good story. How can people get a hold of you? Because they listen, that they look at, and we spot ideas often. I just like them to be able to get a hold of the person I'm interviewing if they can.
Yeah, for sure. We're on LinkedIn, so anybody with a LinkedIn, just look for Powerhouse Management Services. There's a couple. There's a couple companies that have a similar name. One of them's overseas, so we always say look for our spinning wheel logo, sort of thing.
Mhm.
Our website, there's a contact us. We just actually launched a new website this week, so powerhousemgt.ca, and there's a contact page there. It describes all our services as well. As far as the business, I mean, it's hard to describe what we do, but I mean, we're facility management for clients, basically, where we'll do their energy management, their repairs and monitoring, their energy monitoring within the building as well. We do construction project management as well, if they're doing a lighting retrofit and things like that. So we're very hands-on with all our clients, and that really grew through our clients asking us, "Could you do this as well?" And
Good.
we said, "Yeah, we can take that on."
Okay, Wayne. Well, once again, thanks for coming on to Canada's podcast. Been great meeting you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, Phil.